welcome to the session. This is Sweta Roy, your English Master Teacher at Vedantu. Welcome to Sprint Text Term 2, and the chapter that we are going to talk about today is the necklace and analytical paragraph. Analytical paragraph is from your writing section. I hope you remember that, and I hope you are practicing well, right? Okay, so let's get started without further delay. We will be talking about 10 mark 5 mark question, not 10 mark question, sorry. Analytical paragraph is for 5 marks. So yes, 5 mark questions from analytical paragraph, 2 marks and 4 marks questions from literature, necklace as well as necklace. Yes, so 2 mark and 4 mark question. Value based question is for 4 marks. I hope you remember that. Right, so before we start off, please do hit a like button, share the video and subscribe to the channel in case you haven't. And yes, we'll begin with a very positive note, a positive quote for making you positive and your approach positive. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. All of you are skilled, or you aspire to become skilled sailors, right? So definitely we will have challenges. We have to face those challenges. We have to brave the challenges, right? So I'm sure all of you are ready to face the challenge of your education, of your exams, and I'm sure you would all come out with flying colors. So let's brace ourselves up. Let's begin the session. I hope you are aware of the schedule, so I'm skipping the schedule part and directly starting with the question on analytical paragraph, right? So analytical paragraph is for 5 marks, if you remember. Okay, so this is the table. Analytical paragraph can have table, chart, clues, anything. This time your sample paper had a flow chart, if you remember, right? So it could also be asked in the manner of a flow chart. You have to be very well prepared if you are choosing to attempt the analytical paragraph. Please do not leave out the analytical paragraph questions thinking that you would have an option of attempting the letter writing, because you would never know. The question for letter writing can be very ambiguous or very difficult. In that case, you have to be on the safer side, right? So please, an analytical paragraph is something which you will remember, which you will always you need in your life, right? So definitely please practice this analytical paragraph. Whatever topics are there in your syllabus, it has some impact in your life. It definitely has some meaning. That's why it is included, right? So don't skip any part. Very important, not just for your exams but remembering your future. Okay, so the chart below displays details regarding online activity for 6 age groups in 6 categories. Okay, in 150 to 200 words, write an analysis of the paragraph. So analytical paragraph, I hope you've looked at the video related to analytical paragraph, right? So we have discussed already what exactly is an analytical paragraph. So now let us look at the table. Very simple. Activity, percentage, age, everything is given, and the activities are also given: getting news, downloads, buying a product, online game, searching for people, product research. Look at the numbers, look at the chart very carefully, and tell me how would you begin the writing or analysis of this particular chart. How would you express them in words? Please note that you have marks for comparing and contrasting. So please do not skip on the comparison and contrasting part, because that is where you get marks. If you look at the marking scheme uploaded by CBSE, when your sample paper was released, you will see that marks has been allotted for comparison and contrasting. So that is very important. So let us have a look at the sample paragraph for that matter. For 6 distinct types of activities, the table above illustrates the online activities of 7 age groups, ranging from teenagers to those in their 70s. So you have at the very beginning talked about the online activity. What is the paragraph all about? So that is your introductory statement, your thesis statement, right? The chart illustrates that younger people are more interested in online games and news, whereas the elderly people use internet to study and buy items. This you have analyzed looking at the data which has been provided to you in the chart, in the table. The chart shows that the adolescents mostly use the internet for games, up to 81%. This should be appropriate, exactly as represented as in the table. News and downloads, and that they are interested in finding people or friends as well as completing product research. Also, please note, you have to represent whatever has been given in the chart without adding any personal comment. That is something which we have already discussed when we were doing the session on analytical paragraph. Okay, the middle age group, those in their 20s to 60s, now you have covered from 20s to 60s again. That is the middle age group. Okay, so very, very important to cover all the data which is being provided to you. Do not miss out on any point. Is interested in obtaining news, conducting product research, purchasing items with a proportion of 70 to 80%. The internet activity that takes up the least amount of time. So see here, you are creating the contrast. You're talking about the trends. So creating contrast, comparison, contrast, talking about the trends. These are the areas where you need to focus your attention, because these are scoring areas. Okay, right. So while the age with age, the amount of time spent on downloading drops, and it can be as low as 6%. All right, this is how you have to attempt your analytical paragraph, and this is the conclusion. Overall, this is the conclusion. Okay, so where you are giving the overall summary, you're summarizing, overview, conclusion, or your overview, right? The table indicates that teens are most likely to spend their time in playing video games and downloading the content. Older individuals are interested in studying and purchasing items. People spend the least amount. Again, you are creating the contrast. You are talking about the least. So least, talk about the least, the maximum. Okay, talk about the trends, whether it is increasing or decreasing. These are the pointers which are common for all analytical paragraphs. So whenever you are practicing analytical paragraph, focus on these pointers. This will help you in fetching good marks.
बच्चों के मार्क्स जितने कम आते हैं, पापा का वॉल्यूम उतना ही बढ़ जाता है। ये होती है पढ़ाई। पर कभी सोचा है कि मार्क्स बढ़ाने की जिम्मेदारी सिर्फ बच्चों की ही क्यों?
अब वेदांतु मार्क्स बढ़ाने की जिम्मेदारी लेगा, वरना आपकी पूरी फीस वापस।
All right, that was all about analytical paragraph. I hope this was helpful. Next, we will move ahead with the section that carries the maximum weightage. Of course, that is literature, and the chapter from literature that we are going to talk about is the necklace. Okay, are we ready? The first question is for 2 marks. What changes came into the life of Louisville after borrowing money? Very important question. You can expect this type of question in your paper. Okay, the changes. So this is a direct textual question. So you can just, if you know your text, you can get straight 2 out of 2. So I would also suggest you to answer these types of questions which are direct textual question, because here these questions are very scoring. The value-based questions, if you get an alternative with a direct text question and a value-based question, I would suggest go for the direct questions. They are very scoring because you have less scope of creativity. So wherever you have less scope of creativity, there is nothing to satisfy the examiner. The examiner will be satisfied, right? So yeah, they had to do away with the maid. Matilda had to do all the household chores. So this is given already in the text. She had to carry down the refuse to the street and carry water upstairs. So be as detailed as possible. Cover all the details given in your text. She had to do all the shopping from the market, had a lot of haggling, and her husband also had to work hard. He used to work 2 shifts a day, right? Evenings and sometimes even at night. So their life was changed drastically after borrowing the money. So that is, you can add up to this. The next question that we have is, what was the cause of Matilda's ruin? So if you have an option between the first question and this question, I think you have now understood which question to attempt. Of course, the first one, it is much more scoring and direct. So here, of course, you have to talk about Matilda's discontentment, which was the cause of her ruin. While you talk about discontentment, I'm sure you remember this, the poem Fire and Ice. What did it tell you? Too much of greed or too much of lust can be the cause of your ruin. And that was the reason. So you can cross-refer to Fire and Ice as well. And that was the reason of Matilda's. Okay, so I'm just writing cross-reference. That will add the necessary spice, because most of the students would just talk about this chapter focused on the discontentment that Matilda was having. If you give this extra point, you will be able to impress the examiner. Yes. So she always felt that she had been born for better things, so her desires to be rich or distinguished or of becoming known were never fulfilled, which caused her to be unhappy and ruined. And here you can add, any quote from Fire and Ice. You can also just talk about the summary in one line from Fire and Ice. You can just mention that in Fire and Ice also, the poet talked about how greed, excessive greed, leads to the destruction, and it could be the cause for the end of the world. And this discontent was the cause of the end of Matilda's happy life, right? Or a contented and satisfied life. So I hope you guys are enjoying your session still here. If you want to join us further, you can just click on the link below and you can get yourselves enrolled. These are the pricing, and please do not forget to use the coupon code. It's SWRE Pro 1. That is the coupon code. And now we will move ahead with the 4-mark questions. We have 2 questions for practice. The first question is, the necklace reveals that vanity is an evil. It may bring joy for a short period, but ultimately it leads to ruin. If you were placed in a situation similar to that of Matilda, what would you have done? So this is completely an open to your interpretation. You can definitely put forth your views in the chat for this question. I would like to know from you, what are your views? Okay, so this is just a sample which I am giving out to you, but you can definitely add to your add to this. Right, so the necklace, through the example of Matilda, conveys the truth that one must value what he has and cherish that. Very, very important. Okay, so contentment is a value that has been taught with the help of this chapter. Okay, because materialistic possession, we run behind materialistic possession. You can quote animals here, if you remember, animals, the poem Animals. Okay, so running behind materialistic possession, and we are never satisfied, and that is why we have the mania of owning things. That's what the poet calls, he calls that mania. Okay, so that is something which you can write over here. It would add up to your answer. Matilda should have valued the love of her husband rather than grumble about her unfulfilled desires or aspirations. And to look beautiful, one does not need to borrow expensive jewels. It is the goodness of a person. So it is the goodness within. And the way one conducts makes one beautiful. Okay, so that is something which we have added, but as I told you, I would like to see from you your opinions. So please mention your opinions in the chat, or if you like, you can just comment it in the comment section. The next one is contentment is a great wealth. So this is again, here also you can refer to Fire and Ice. You can just cross refer to Fire and Ice, because that is a poem which talks about contentment and how discontentment can lead to the end of the life. You can also talk about the animals, poem Animals, because that's exactly is the reason contentment leads. Contentment can come with a simple life. Okay, and if we are not satisfied, we will never be happy. So that is exactly the reason why the poet wants to turn away from the human world in the poem Animals to the animal world. Okay, so there is no doubt in saying that man's final goal should be contentment. It should not be the mania of owning things. Okay, mania of owning things. You can quote from the Animals. We are having this disease of owning things. That's what the poet calls as mania. Okay, so human beings can never be happy if they have unbridled desire and wants, and that leads to destruction. Fire and Ice, And this is shown by the character Matilda, who was never happy with what she had but always desired for more and more, which led her to ruin. Man should find happiness in what he has rather than running after. So running after, again, mania of possessing things which we do not have. It is the cause of unhappiness and sorrow, materialistic pleasures. So with that, guys, we have completed the 5-mark question, 2-mark question and 4-mark question from Necklace as well as analytical paragraph. And this is your homework question. What could have happened to Matilda if she had confessed to her friend that she had lost her necklace? Please do not forget to post your homework answer in the comment section. I would love to see your lovely comments. So please fill in the comment section with your answers. So I hope you guys enjoyed the session. Please do not miss out the next session on hack driver and discursive passage. Till then, guys, take care and bye-bye. See you very soon in the next session.
एग्जाम से पहले घर वाले शुरू हो जाते हैं।
बादाम दूध पी लो बेटा, मार्क्स के लिए ना टिप्स हर कोई देता है।
इसलिए वेदांतु इम्प्रूवमेंट प्रॉमिस।
अब वेदांतु मार्क्स बढ़ाने की जिम्मेदारी लेगा, वरना आपकी पूरी फीस वापस।